It all started when I began noticing subtle changes in my wife, Claire. She became more secretive with her phone, taking calls in another room and deleting messages instantly. At first, I convinced myself it was nothing, maybe work stress or personal space, but deep down, something didn't feel right. We had been married for 8 years, and I thought I knew her inside out. One evening, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I shouldn't have looked, but curiosity and suspicion got the better of me. The messages I saw confirmed my worst fears, sweet, romantic texts from her coworker, Jason, discussing their next night together. My hands trembled, my chest felt tight, and I knew my marriage had taken a turn I couldn't ignore. I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I decided to collect proof. I started saving screenshots of her messages and even hired a private investigator. Within a week, the investigator provided photos of Claire and Jason holding hands, kissing, and checking into a hotel during work hours. Every image felt like a knife in my chest, but I needed this evidence for what was coming next. The breaking point came when my best friend called to tell me he saw Claire and Jason together at a local cafe, laughing and holding hands in plain sight. My humiliation was now public. Friends, neighbors, and even my co-workers began hearing whispers about my wife's affair. The betrayal was no longer private, it was on display for everyone to see. That night, I confronted Claire. She didn't deny it. In fact, she looked almost relieved that I knew. "I haven't been happy for a long time," she said coldly. Those words cut deeper than the cheating itself. I told her I wanted a divorce, and she agreed without hesitation. When the divorce proceedings began, her lawyer came in confident, clearly thinking Claire would walk away with a good settlement. They were counting on the fact that I earned more and that she could claim spousal support. What they didn't know was that I had something that could change the entire game. On the day of the hearing, I waited quietly as her lawyer presented his arguments. Then, when it was my turn, I slid a single document across the table to my attorney. It was the prenuptial agreement Claire had signed before we married, a document she had completely forgotten about. The prenup stated that any infidelity on her part would forfeit her right to any financial settlement, alimony, or shared assets. And I had overwhelming proof of her cheating, both from the investigator and her own text messages. My lawyer presented it calmly, but I could see the color drain from Claire's face the moment she realized what it meant. Her lawyer picked up the paper, read it twice, and his jaw literally dropped. We need a moment," he stammered. They stepped outside, but I already knew the outcome. The prenup was airtight, and the evidence was irrefutable. Claire had walked herself into a trap she didn't even remember existed. When they returned, her lawyer looked defeated. "My client is prepared to accept your terms," he said quietly. There was no fight left in her. She left the courtroom without even looking at me. For the first time in months, I felt like I had regained control over my life. News of the court outcome spread quickly in our small town. People who had pitted me for being cheated on now congratulated me for standing my ground. I didn't care about revenge, but I did care about protecting myself from someone who had so little respect for our marriage. Claire moved in with Jason not long after, but from what I've heard, things haven't been going smoothly for them. I've chosen not to follow their lives closely. It's none of my business anymore. My focus is on healing, rebuilding, and moving forward. The betrayal still stings, but that single piece of paper, the prenup, saved me from financial ruin and gave me the closure I needed. It was the last thing Claire expected, and the moment her lawyer's jaw dropped will forever be etched in my memory. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't loud or messy. It's quiet, calculated, and legal. And in my case, it was signed years before the affair ever happened. That day in court taught me a valuable lesson. Trust is fragile, but preparation is power. I lost my wife, but I walked away with my dignity, my savings, and my peace intact. And honestly, that's worth more than anything she could have taken from me.